Hello! First, I'd like to start by saying that I welcome all comments, whether good or bad. Because like they say, any publicity is good publicity.
Well, I think he's got a lot of hand movement. I've never seen so much hand movement. I said, is he crazy or is that just the way he acts? So, and I've actually never seen anything quite like it. Study it. I'm sure you'll agree.
See? What's up, handsome people? If you're like me and you have a limited income, but you love expensive gadgets, you've come to the right place. On this channel, we focus on getting the best gadgets for the least amount of cash. So if you're new here,
subscribe now.
And hey, don't be shy. Feel free to check out the links in the description below anytime during the video. So let's see if the Gear 3 stands the test of time. So there are 3 things that I do not leave my home without. The first, of course, is my cell phone, which right now I'm packing the S10e. The second would be my Galaxy Buds, because you never know when you want to just drown out the world and just be in your own zone. And the third thing would have to be my watch, which is the Samsung Gear S3. This thing is attached to me at all times, even when I'm sleeping. So I've had the Gear S3 for just a little over a year. I actually picked it up on eBay for about $240, and man, it was such a great decision. I've actually have numerous variations of the Samsung Gear watches, and this one, my goodness, this watch is the pinnacle of design. And although Samsung has released newer versions of this watch, it does not compete with this, let alone any other watch that's out in the market. Now, after owning a product for over a year, there are a lot of things that you're gonna notice about the product that you're gonna like, and maybe some things that you don't like. But the positives on this watch definitely outweigh the negatives tremendously. And let me tell you why. So the first thing that drew my attention to this watch is the design. It is beautifully designed. From how thick it is to the back, it fits comfortably on the wrist. This rotating bezel is genius. I cannot emphasize that enough. It is genius. The design of this looks like just a regular watch that you can wear at a business meeting as well as while you're working out. The screen is crisp and it's bright. Even in direct sunlight, I have not had any issues while looking at this watch, even in the California sun. This thing is awesome. Another thing that's really nice about this watch is the interchangeable bands. There's no need to buy any special bands. These bands are interchangeable with hundreds, if not thousands, of different types of bands that you can buy, of course, from Samsung's website, but you can also purchase them at places like Amazon or eBay. So the customizing possibilities are endless. Not to mention the watch face. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of watch faces that are available at the Samsung Gear store. So with this watch face, it has information that I use on a daily basis. So of course we have the date, we have how many steps I've taken today, we have the time, the percentage of battery that's left on the watch. Now you might be saying, yeah, it looks great, the screen looks nice, but how about the battery? Well, I am pleased to tell you that even after a year of charging it, I charge it every 2 to 3 days, and that's a full day of use with it on my wrist doing what it does best. So not only does it tell time, but it also tracks your steps. So according to the watch, I've burned 1,697 calories just today. I've taken 5,341 steps. Of course, no floors because I work indoors in a flat building. Exercise, well, haven't done that. It even tracks your sleep. So last night it said I had 10 hours and 21 minutes. Man, I was tired. But if you click on this, it'll bring up the efficiency and the actual sleep time. So it said I was asleep from 9:14 p.m. to 7:35 a.m. My efficiency was 83%. Actual sleep time, 8 hours and 35 minutes. I was restless for about an hour and a half. I did some light sleeping for about 5 hours, and I was motionless for 3 hours and 50 minutes last night while I was sleeping. And all this is compiled in one app, which is the S Health app, which can be downloaded on any Android phone as well as any iOS phone. Because like I said earlier, Samsung's all about options, while other companies are all about limits. So if we go back, you can actually put your food intake And if I were to put my food in here, it would have how many calories I've eaten. You can record how much water you drank throughout the day. So with the S Health app, you can actually compete with people around the world, or just a competition between you and your spouse on how many steps and calories that you've burned. It's pretty cool, especially for those that are real competitive. So the watch is great looking, it's excellent on battery, and it monitors your health. So what else can you do with this watch? Well, did you know you can watch YouTube videos?
What?
No? Well, let me show you. So if you download this app, it's called Player for YouTube. Let's just say we want to search our favorite YouTuber, Handsome Gadgets, of course.
Yes.
So we click on this search button right here. And what you're going to do is write it out by hand. So here we go. All right, so now we got it in. Handsome Gadgets, of course. Click done. And look what it has. It has my videos. How cool is that? Now, it's one thing to see it on the screen. It's another thing to watch it and hear it. So watch this.
Hello.
Look at that. Let me bring it in a little bit so you can see it a little more clearly. We're watching YouTube on a smartwatch, people. Isn't that something? Now, of course, this needs to be connected to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, because this version that I have is not the LTE version. The LTE version would have its own data plan, but you would have to pay a monthly fee for that. And this go around, I just decided to get the Bluetooth version. So wasn't that amazing? Well, I sure think so. Now, Apple has Apple Pay, which we all know, and those that use Apple Pay, they like it, I guess. Google has Google Pay, which is all right, but it only works with NFC-enabled devices that can take the payment. But the Gear S3 has Samsung Pay built in. Now, because I just switched to the S10, I haven't had a need to use this for Samsung Pay, but it came handy with my OnePlus. So all you have to do to load it is press this button right here. You gotta type your PIN, of course, so let me do that. And then it loads Samsung Pay. So we have some instructions as to how to make payments. Rotate the bezel to choose the card, tap pay on the screen. Then you gotta hold your watch near to the card reader so you can pay. But if you're using an NFC reader, you hold it near the NFC reader. So you might be thinking, okay, well, this is the Bluetooth version. So in order for Samsung Pay to work, it needs to be connected to your phone, correct? Well, I'm happy to say that I actually tested this out, that it does not need any data connection in order for Samsung Pay to work.
Really?
That really blew me away. So we've talked about some pretty cool features, but the basics, how does it do with the basics? So let's just say you're out and about and you receive a phone call. What's nice about the Gear S3 is not only does it have a speaker, but there's a microphone on board as well. And over the past year, I have not had any issues with call clarity coming out of the speaker or on the receiver end actually hearing my voice. And because this thing's got a rotating bezel, you just rotate it right to answer the call and then left to reject the call. It's that easy. So although this watch is right there, it's nearly perfect, but I have one gripe. Now, it may seem very minuscule to most, but to me, and actually having this feature and then for them to take it away, I don't understand why they did that. It boggles the mind. I've had it in the past. I don't know why they don't offer it anymore. So here's the issue. This double press home key. The home key is right there. So if you click on this, you have numerous options as to if you double press the home key, how is it going to respond? You got things like
last app, recent apps, quick dial, create reminder, workout, alarm, contacts, email, find my phone, Galaxy apps, music, news briefing, phone, player for YouTube, reminder, S-Voice, Samsung Health, weather, world clock.
Did you notice that this is in alphabetical order? And there is one thing that they took from me that I want back. So Samsung, if you're listening, this should be available in the App Store. I don't know why it's not available anymore. But after S, there should be a letter T. And that T should say timer. The timer is no longer available, and I have no idea why. So if I double click on this, it brings up basically Bixby. Nobody wants Bixby. I don't want Bixby. And Bixby cannot set a timer. So before, when I first purchased this watch, I double click on that and a timer would come up. You know what a timer is good for? It's good for breaks and it's good for lunches. And guess who has breaks and lunches? I do. And guess how often I have them? I have 2 breaks a day and I have 1 lunch a day. So I'm using it at least 3 times a day, every day at work. And I no longer can do that. I have no idea why Samsung pulled that app from the App Store and why it doesn't come pre-installed on the watch anymore. The Gear S2 had it, the Gear had it, all previous watches had it, but for whatever reason, this watch does not have it. And I'm mad about it because every time I go to break or I go to lunch, I gotta pull out my phone, I gotta swipe up, I gotta go to clock, and I gotta set the timer that way. You know how important it is for me to show up back to work on time? You know how strict my job is with the 15-minute breaks and the 1-hour lunches? How strict, super strict. And I need to be back on time. And unfortunately, the convenience of having this watch on me at all times and just double clicking this button so that way it opens up the timer is no longer available, and I can't imagine why. Something so simple, yet they took it away. They took it away from me. But back to your happy, handsome gadgets. So call me a Samsung fanboy or whatever. In my opinion, this watch is the best that money can buy. Currently, there are no other watches even worth looking at. And well, I actually started a trend because I was the first one in my office with this watch. And I'm happy to report that nearly half my coworkers have this watch and they love it just as much as I do. So if you're ready to buy or would like more information on the Samsung Gear S3, leave a comment below or click the link in the description. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell to make sure you're in the loop for all things handsome gadgets. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked the video, and I guess a thumbs down if you didn't care for it. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter @HandsomeGadgets. Thank you and have a good one.